Hello there, friends and enemies. Welcome back to Unfinished Archetypes, where I go over sets of cards Konami has released that have not fully finished their run, at least as it seems, and see what they were trying to do with them. Today's archetype is an archetype that I learned about by asking people about their favorite lesser-known cards, and that is Iron Chain. Iron Chain seems to be a bit of an interesting archetype, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. First in the cards for this archetype we have Iron Chain Blaster, where you can send an Iron Chain monster to the graveyard to inflict 800 points of damage to your opponent once per turn. We also have Iron Chain Coil that can give another Iron Chain monster 300 attack and defense as long as coils face up on the field once per turn. We have Iron Chain Repairman that deals damage to your opponent whenever it destroys a monster, and then once per turn you can give up your attack in order to special summon an Iron Chain monster from your graveyard that's not Repairman. Lastly, for main deck monsters, we've got Iron Chain Snake that equips to an opponent's monster and lowers its attack and defense by 800, and then when that monster is destroyed, your opponent mills for its level. Last for the main deck is the continuous spell Poison Chain that can mill your opponent for the number of Iron Chain monsters you have on the field as long as you didn't attack that turn. And lastly for the archetype we have the Synchro monster Iron Chain Dragon that can banish Iron Chain monsters from your graveyard to gain some attack and defense, and then can mill your opponent whenever it deals damage to them. So taking a look at this archetype on a base level, it seems kind of obvious to me that they wanted all of these cards to work off of each other, much like links in a chain. It's clear to me that it's an archetype that's meant to be thematic with its name, much like plenty of other archetypes that Konami has released for Yu-Gi-Oh! Over the years. Although it doesn't seem like Iron Chain has a real direct goal in mind other than dealing some damage and milling your opponent a little bit. You could probably make these mill effects work with some Runic. If you wanted to put Runic into this deck, it could probably work that way, but we all know that mill decks are not fun. However, other than that, I'm not sure exactly what Iron Chain could necessarily be used for. All of the monsters are Earth type, so maybe you could make something that cares about Earth attribute, but other than that, Iron Chain doesn't really seem to have a direction. You either burn your opponent for some damage or you mill them a little bit. There's not really much that I can think of that you could really do with these cards. You could probably take these cards individually and put them as just small little techs in other decks, but I can't really see Iron Chain doing super well on its own unless it got some crazy type of overhaul that, you know, made all the cards care about the other cards specifically, probably with a Speller Trap. Unless you just wanted to overhaul the archetype completely and make completely new cards that all have a completely different goal, like they all have the same effect that does one thing that these cards don't have. But yes, it seems like Konami was just trying to make kind of a combo deck, but it doesn't seem to really work with Iron Chain. But that's all I really have to say about Iron Chain today. Thank you so much for watching. How do you feel about Iron Chain? Have you played them before? And if you have, let me know how they felt. I hope you found something to enjoy about this video. I know that I enjoy doing these little videos. They're just a fun little thing to get through pretty quickly and just have fun talking about some archetypes that I don't really see talked about a whole lot. Thank you once again for watching, and until next time, as always, drink your water.